right, welcome everybody. Ignite session 2. Ignite session 2. If you haven't watched Ignite session 1 yet, it is on the YouTube training playlist, but let's get started. So as we talked about last week, these first 4 sessions of Ignite are all about basically becoming a real estate expert. All right, and the biggest thing that you'll see in here is you don't need to be an expert in everything, statistically speaking, CMAs, buyer presentation, seller presentation. Becoming an expert in real estate is owning the business, right? And so last week we talked about sparking your career and going through all of the stuff that KW has to offer, getting our mindset right. Now we're going to embrace the job. We're going to talk more about what the job looks like and why we do what we do and why our brains tell us some things that aren't true. I would love to yeah, Darcy, absolutely. And I'm excited to see you on here. I haven't seen your name for a while. I'll happily save some for you too. So let me write this down and hopefully I don't forget. Jackie, Darcy, handwritten. So today we're going to go into embracing the job, right? So we talk about this a lot. We talk about having this industry or this career go from a job to a career. All right. What you'll notice is that you guys will envy and you guys will try and emulate some of the successful agents in our office, right? I think I pick on her a lot because she runs a different type of business, but it works for her. A lot of people see Jenny Hart on social media. She vocalizes that she really stinks at a touch program. And what she really stinks at doing is recognizing that she has a touch program. She just so happens to touch her database through her social media. And so I believe that she has an effective business. I don't think she looks at it that way. So we're going to talk about that, embracing that it's a job, right? When you get started in real estate, if you're struggling, you don't have any income, I ask you to dig deep with yourself and are you working 6 to 8 hours a day in real estate? If you want full-time income, are you treating this with full-time efforts and hours, right? And so we'll talk about some more of that today. But again, these first 4 sessions are going to be getting into it. Then we're going to talk about lead generation, lead follow-up, and then how the transaction works. So let's get going. All right, on today's agenda, 6 core competencies of business. I love this one because this is where we really wrap our heads around why we are not supposed to be the expert in everything except for the real estate side. Quit answering questions about lending, quit answering questions about zoning. We'll dive into that. Recognize your role as a fiduciary for your clients. A lot of you just got out of schooling and class and learned what a fiduciary duty really truly means. And I'm gonna go through that a little bit, and I'm also gonna show you maybe some contracts if we have time, so that way you understand what your fiduciary duties are, and you guys got to stay in those lanes. Stay in those lanes, right? The reason why a loan officer has to go through schooling to get their MLO's license, to then hang it at a company, to then do their job, sounds very similar to us. Did we go through MLO's license? No. Quit answering questions about the lending game that you don't know for a fact and that you want to learn. Quit learning it. Just go talk to a lender. Jake sat down with Grant at our office and you'll learn that we don't need to know that stuff. That's what they're there for. All right. Review the success system. We'll talk about AHAs, and then obviously the daily success system, which is what we just recapped from session 1. All right. 6 core competencies of business. Lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments, present to buyers and sellers and get the agreement, show buyers the market, show buyers and market to sellers, negotiate contracts, coordinate the closing, and manage the money. All right. They call this the 6 core competencies of business. I look at it in more of a simplistic way. You have 5 daily job duties, and you guys are going to hammer this to in your dome, because I say this over and over again, and then I watch you guys not stick to this. First one, lead generate, lead follow-up. Second one, go on appointments. What's an appointment, Jake? How should we define an appointment?
Buyer consultation or listing consultation.
Exactly. Keep it simple, guys. An appointment is not me and Jake going out for beer and talking about real estate in the market for a brief second, and he has no interest in real estate or doing anything with it. He just asked me a question to appease me that I'm in real estate, just like I appeasing him by asking him what he does for work. That's not an appointment. That's a face-to-face. Okay. So we're going to lead generate and lead follow-up. We're going to go on appointments, buyer and seller presentations. If you guys need work on that, we have Claudia, our brand new coach. That is her job. Her job is to review your contracts, help you with contracts, help you strategize contracts, as well as help you formulate the best buyer and seller presentation that you guys have so you can go on appointments. If you are after the appointment, what happens? We need to go under contract. We need to negotiate the deal. Once we negotiate the deal and it comes down to closing, we need to go to closing. Well, closings only take an hour. They're one of our top 5 priorities. Don't skip your closings. Sometimes the buyer and seller won't care if you're at the closing. Sometimes the title company will ask you if you want to be at the closing. Go to your closings. It's in your top 5 categories of lead gen, or I'm sorry, of your job description. And it is a beautiful way to lead generate at the closing table. Once you close, but that's only an hour, and that's like, you know, if you close 1 deal a month, that's 1 hour a month. So out of the 5 job descriptions, this one is like, it's important, but it doesn't really take up any part of our time or day or life. Last one, scripts, role play, train. Those are your 5 daily job descriptions. I didn't say design your business card. I didn't say work on your website. I didn't say create a smart plan. You need to do those 5 things every single day, and then create your website, then create your smart plan, and then do this. Never, ever, ever start the morning off with getting into command and building a smart plan, because I can guarantee you, because I was there, I'm a human, I have the same brain as you guys do, you're not going to lead generate in the afternoon. If you do, that's awesome. Good for you. You're probably setting yourself up on a bad habit, because once your momentum starts to get rolling and you have deals and appointments, those always get pushed to the afternoon and evenings, weekends. And your habit is to wake up and start doing the 80% that doesn't even get you business. A smart plan does not give you business. It helps you get business. Using technology to help our job is what a smart plan does. I don't know about you guys, but when real estate agents started before the internet was around, they didn't have smart plans and CRMs, and they did just fine. They used Excel spreadsheets and notebooks and all sorts of paper. So don't get caught up in, I don't have a smart plan, I can't lead generate. No, lead generate. Smart plan is just going to help you over time. Work on that in the afternoons and evenings when you don't yet have appointments. All right, so those are our 5 job descriptions. So if those are our 5 job descriptions or our 6 core competencies, then every single day we need to start off with lead generation, lead follow-up. If you don't have appointments to go on, you maybe do some more lead generation, lead follow-up until you get an appointment. If you don't have anybody in your contract, you have no deals to negotiate, and closings only happen once a month. So these are our 2 main tasks as we're getting started in real estate: lead generation, lead follow-up, train, scripts, role play. Everything else goes after that. All right. Number 6, managing the money. I don't add that to that because you need to have closings to manage your money. The only thing that I'll say about it is if you don't have closings, you should not be spending more than maybe $50 a month on print material that you are actively door knocking, cold calling, sending out in the mail. I don't care. I personally am a free guy. I don't ever spend money unless I have to, and it's usually about 15-cent copies of black and white. I told this to our power hour yesterday. I'll tell it to you guys here. The way I manage my money is I don't get overwhelmed with what something looks like, how it's designed, what that, gosh, there's so many people out there that get so particular about how a flyer is designed. For those of you that were in power, I got it right here. Heck yeah. You guys want to see what got me a ton of business, which is why I shake my head and I curse inside my body when I hear somebody say that they redesigned their flyer 10 times. The flyer does not get you business. It's the words and how you deliver it. So I used to do 15-cent black and white copies on white pastel paper. See if I can get my background off. This is what I went door knocking with all the time. Black and white. There's not even, I had to add a KW logo because I was out of compliance. So I just added a black and white KW down here. Okay. This was the first golden letter ever. Do you know a home for our buyer? They're looking at Old Town Longmont, must have character, not afraid to update, 400 and below, cash, foundation, roof issues, no problem, because it's cash. Let's go. Here's my name, number, information. Let's roll. Quit overcomplicating this, you guys. You guys, I don't even think you need a budget until you start closing deals, because you print 50 of these off for 15 cents a copy. Let's go. Okay. Quit overcomplicating it. As you develop your plans and your systems and have your closings happen, we'll work with you on your budget. Questions about these? Anybody want to focus on any one of them? Should we define lead generation? I just realized I'm still this right here. I don't even showing you guys my screen.
I always want to hear more about lead generation because I go back and forth about, I feel like I'm lead generating. Some people define it as when you have a two-way conversation back and forth about real estate only. So that gets in my head a lot about, am I actually lead genning right now? So yes, for me.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
I take that more as like that contact or whatever. And then lead gen as just the task.
Yeah, I feel like if I get the contact, then I can lead gen with that contact. But I've been told, no, if you didn't have the conversation, then that doesn't count. So yes, please do tell.
Yeah. Here's how I recommend. So everybody's in business for themselves and everybody will have their own definitions on things. For me, it's very simple. Just keep in mind, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So if you have a two-way conversation with somebody and real estate isn't brought up, but we're counting contacts for what? Real estate. How the hell is that a contact? Like seriously, I really have to ask you guys that, because I see people count those as contacts. That's like me going on a basketball court with 3 seconds left in the game and no one passes me the ball, but I take a shot. Doesn't make any sense to me.
But what if you are planning I see that, but then in my mind also, it's like, I'm planning on hitting them up for future real estate, lead gen. Like the first conversation may not be, but then that's like, eventually, yes, when I have another conversation or when I'm marketing to them or when they become part of my, Facebook, my touch program, when I have the next conversation, right? I don't know.
When would you tally it as a contact then?
For me, it's a contact when I obtain any amount of their personal information. It's not a great contact until I have all of it. It's not a lead really for me until it's a real estate lead, but it's still a contact.
Yeah, we're not talking about leads. We're not talking about leads.
So it's a contact when I get a way to contact them beyond their name for me, but I'm not saying I'm right.
No, I'm saying that's fine. Because if you call up a random stranger and say, hey, give me your number, they're going to ask why. So there's going to be real estate brought up when you're asking for contact info. Right? No, am I wrong?
No, you're right. When I get a contact, I don't necessarily have not necessarily had a real estate conversation with them, though I fully plan to, or at least market to them that way at some point. But I have enough information to add them as just simply a contact. Distinct from a lead or lead gen.
Right. We're not talking about leads. Not in the slightest right now. We're defining a contact.
I've had this conversation with Bruce too. So are we talking about just like the two-way conversation about real estate and that's a contact? Or are we talking about adding a contact to your database? Because they're two different things.
Well, we're talking about lead generation. So
yeah, when I'm lead
entering-
genning and I consider a contact once, like I bring up real estate and we have a back and forth about real estate. That's a
exactly,
one contact.
exactly. Entering in information to your database is not even part of the 5 core job descriptions. That happens after. So
Okay,
that's not
so
going to be a
then-
contact at all.
Okay, so it's not a contact just to enter somebody into your database. Because
That's
the
correct.
contact is under the context of real estate only.
That is a database ad.
Roger.
Like where Holly said, I'm getting it right. I got it right 3 times today, Holly. Where she said I added 7 people to my database, she added 7 contacts to her database. But so you can call them database ads, you can call them contact ads, but it's not a contact. And here's why. The numbers say that if you have 100 contacts to strangers, you're likely to get 1 lead out of 100 conversations. All right, so this is why I don't understand why anybody could count a contact or a conversation that doesn't brought up real estate. Because if you have 100 conversations or make 100 contacts and not one thing was ever brought up about real estate, you think a magical unicorn is going to come out and one of them is going to be a lead and you didn't even talk? That doesn't make sense, right? So that's why it's a 2-way conversation, one in which real estate is brought up. I said brought up. What does that mean, Bruce? I thought we said you don't have to ask for real estate business. If you do, that's like that's like the golden contact, like that. That's like the gold star contact, one in which you brought up real estate, you talked about it, and then you asked for the business. That's perfect. That you do that 100 times, I guarantee you'll have at least 5 to 10 leads. If you just have 100 conversations about real estate and you don't ask anybody for the business, you will get probably on average about 1 lead. So I ask you, would you rather talk to 100 people and get 5 to 10 leads? Or would you rather talk to 100 people and get 1 lead? Or would you rather talk to 100 people never about real estate and then wonder why you're not closing anything? So a contact has to have some sort of real estate conversation brought up. If you ask, you're going to have more, but you're going to have better conversion over time. Then we talk about 10 to 1 lead ratio. So it's statistically said that if you talk to 1,000 people, you should have about 10 real estate leads. I didn't say leave 1,000 people voicemails. I didn't say leave 1,000 emails, leave 1,000 text messages that you don't get any replies on. 1,000 conversations, 1,000 contacts. You should get about 10 real estate leads. From those 10 real estate leads, you should close about 1. So when we get excited about that 1 lead or we're dwelling on it, I was talking to an agent yesterday. I go out to coffee with him. If anybody's in the Longmont area, I do coffee with this gentleman in Longmont every Tuesday at about 3:15 for about a half an hour, and we just talk about what he's doing, lead gen. Kind of spilled my guts to him as well about my life and what I'm doing in business, and so it's just like a little mastermind. You guys are all welcome. Anyways, he talked to me about this 1 lead yesterday in depth for about 10 minutes. And all I said, because he knows me very well, all I said was 90%. Because he knows that he's dwelling on something that has a 90% chance of not coming to fruition. If you guys are dwelling on this lead, like I so many times in scripts, well, I have this 1 situation, I have this 1 buyer, I have this 1 lead, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. You're likely not doing anything wrong. I can try and help you on some tweaks, but don't dwell on it. There's a 90% chance that lead doesn't do jack crap. So then if we have 1,000 to 10 leads and 10 leads to 1 closing, and we're not closing enough business, we need to go make more contacts. Or we need to figure out a way that we can get our contact ratio from 100 to 1 down to 75 to 1, down to 50 to 1, down to 35 to 1. And then somewhere around that magical unicorn, the highest producing agents that I've seen run at about a 1 out of 13 to 1 out of 23. The highest producing agents out there usually can get a lead after about 25 contacts. If you guys have a goal of 10 contacts a day, 5 days a week in Ignite, can you imagine getting 2 leads every single week just from those efforts? It's possible. It's very possible. So if you guys are only doing 50 contacts a week and you guys are getting frustrated that you're not getting any fruit or any leads from it, it's probably because you're not doing 100. If you guys go 2 weeks of getting 50 contacts in a week, and you absolutely sit down with yourself and know for a very well fact that real estate was brought up in those 100 contacts, and you don't get 1 lead, well, it's because you only have a small sample of trial and error, if you will. So that's why I like to use 1,000. So let's take this Ignite class and let's break this down, because I think a lot of people start in real estate and then about 3 or 4 weeks in, they start to get frustrated. They don't have any business. And when I say, what is your average contact per day? It's very similar to what we went through today on Ignite. I didn't count. I didn't track. If you're not tracking, I don't know how you're going to ever work on your conversions. I don't know how you're ever going to actually understand why you're not getting business. Any business owner tracks, and you have to as well. Here's why. It's an average of 1,000 contacts to 10 leads, an average. You guys can talk to 500 people and probably get maybe 1 or 2, if that, because it's just the law of the average. But you can also we have some agents that start off and they door knock for the first time in their life, and they talk to 13 people and get 1 viable lead. That's not their average. That's just a coincidence. So here's what I'm getting at. Here's why we want you guys to have your first closing in your first 90 days. If you do the work, you'll never get your first closing in 90 days if you don't do the work. It took me 9 months to realize this. Don't do that, because no one showed me this math that I'm doing for you. So if I have 1,000, if I need it to start with a baseline of 1,000 contacts, and I'm doing just 50 a week, that's 20 weeks before I have 10 leads, you guys. How many weeks are in a quarter? Okay, how many weeks are in a month? 4 to 5. Let's use 5. 3 months in a quarter. So now we're talking 20 weeks. So that's 5 months, right? 5 months. So here's where I gotta jump on a pedestal, and I know I've probably already been on the soapbox. If you have been doing this for 4 or 5 months and you have been consistently averaging 50 contacts a week, you're well on your way. You're very close to actually having something pop. Don't get frustrated. But if you're on your 4th and 5th month in real estate and you're not hitting consistently 50 conversations a week about real estate, I don't see where there's any possible way you're gonna close something in your first 6 months. I hate that large dose of reality. I just need to say it right now. I preach when I do my perfect schedule class. So we'll try and sprinkle this into Ignite probably. But when I run my perfect schedule class, I teach you guys how to get 20 contacts in about anywhere from 9 to 11 in the morning, 2 hours. 2 hours of lead gen, I can teach you guys how to get 20 contacts in. But you got to be methodical with it. You have to actually listen to the words that I'm saying and teaching when I talk about that perfect schedule. Because I teach that perfect schedule and I tell everybody how to get 10 contacts in a phone call in 1 hour. And you know what they always come back to me and say is, well, I had to leave a lot of voicemails and I talked to about 3 people. And my next question is how long did you talk to those 3 people? Well, the one person we were on the phone for probably, gosh, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes. Okay, number one, you're not tracking. Number two, 15, 20 minutes to talk about real estate, to talk about the summer and get off the phone. I don't understand why it takes so long. So if you talk to 3 people for 15 minutes, that's 45 minutes. No wonder you can't get in 10 contacts. What I teach is I teach a call. Let me type this out. This might be great benefit for our class today. I teach the call method. A lot of people talk about this Ford method. I like the Ford method. I think the Ford method is for people who don't want to get through contacts. They just want to talk to somebody for an hour. I like the Ford method for the reminder that I have the opportunity to talk about fun. I have the opportunity to talk about occupation. I have the opportunity to talk about recreation, and I have the opportunity to talk about the dreams. I do not want to have a conversation in which I talk about all 4 of those things, because there's no way you can talk about all 4 of those things and get out of the phone conversation within 5 minutes. No possible way. The other thing about it is when you talk about the whole Ford method, you just gave yourself no reason to give them a call back later, because now you know what they like to do for fun, you know what they do for a job, you know what they like to do for recreation, and you know what their dreams and passions are. You just took away every real reason to give them a call back and learn more. So if you're going to use the Ford method, my encouragement is tackle one of the acronyms. Talk about their job, and that's it. Talk about what they like to do for fun, and that's it. Talk about what they're doing this summer, and that's it. Talk about what they're planning for retirement, and that's it. That makes sense? I love the Ford thing. I can't stand using Ford throughout the entire conversation. That's poor lead generation.
What is the Ford method? Sorry.
Yep. Great question. See what it just breaks down. I said fun, family, sorry. Ford, F-O-R-D. You ask a question about their family. Do you have any siblings? Do you have any of that? Blah, 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 blah. O, occupation. Talk about their job. Recreation. What do you like to do for fun? What are you doing this summer? I saw you on Facebook, do this, blah, blah, blah. Beer, food, hiking, biking, fishing, hunting, you name it, recreation. Dreams. Are you plan on having that job for the rest of your life? Where you plan on working? Would you like to travel? What would you like to do someday? What would you like to do with retirement? So that's Ford. Good question. I like the call method. Let's see if I can find it. We'll just talk about this
What
one.
would be other suggestions for, I can't do cold calling. It's just not something I can do. I would much rather do door knocking any day than doing cold calling. So what are other ways of getting contacts? I mean, because you can only, I know they say, to find a farm and work it, but you can only work your farm so much. So, I mean, are you just continuously finding new farms to work, or how are you getting more contacts? Because you're saying like 1,000 contacts a week. To me, that's
not a week. Not a week.
I don't even know 1,000 people. So
no, not a week. Not a week.
Okay.
I'm just saying, you use that baseline. Okay, good question, Melanie. Use that baseline as what you want to see in your business. So if you want to have your first closing in your first 90 days, and it takes about a month for a contract to close, then that means you really have about 60 days of lead generation. And so if you have about 60 days of lead generation, and you take 1,000 contacts divided by 60, that's 16.5 people a day that you're talking to. What I like to do though is I like to understand that we're human. You see, 60 days in 2 months is including weekends. So if there's 4 months per month and there's 8 weekends per 2 months, then 8 times 2 is about 16 days. So now take your 60 days minus the weekends, 16. You have 44 days of lead generation throughout 2 months. So now if you do 1,000 divided by 44 days, that's 23 contacts a day. So the people that start off, and we do have some people that will go door knock every single day and get their 25 conversations in a day. They're the ones who are closing. I don't know if you guys were all at the team meeting yesterday, but the Levi group, all right, husband and wife team, putting up numbers that our groups are having a trouble putting up. Do you know why? Jason is on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook every day. He makes a post every day about real estate. He goes and he door knocks and calls and talks, and he finds a way to get in about 30 contacts every single day. He talks to people at the grocery store. He loves door knocking and going around and door knocking around his open houses. He doesn't stop. He doesn't say, I'm going to door knock from 9 to 11. No, he says, I'm going to door knock until my fingers fall off, until my toes bleed, or I get 25 contacts in. He doesn't care if he walks up to a server at a restaurant and says, hey, I know you're not my server, but I'm in real estate. I'm in work mode. And I just happen to see you walk by. And I know you guys make good money here. Do you ever have an interest in buying a home? So he's tenacious with it. So Melanie, it's you understanding what you do and don't like. I always preach, do not dwell on your weaknesses. So if cold calling is your weakness, don't do it. But you have to sit down with yourself and you have to ask yourself, when do I want a closing? Like realistically, can I put in the effort, actions, and work to get a closing within 3 months? If the answer is yes, you only have to go do 23 conversations a day. And that's not even working the weekend. Go ahead and sprinkle in Saturdays or work 6 days a week. You literally break that thing down to 18 conversations a day. Or sorry, 19 conversations a day.
Okay, that sounds a lot more doable than the other
Super-
conversion.
Super doable, but this is why it's hard for me to. I know I'm going to pick on Holly a little bit. I know that she's been with us for a couple of weeks now, and I know she's kind of frustrated that she's not having any appointments set. Honestly, it's because she's not doing wrong things. She's doing right things, but she's not doing the activities that tenaciously go get us those appointments. She's messaging people on Instagram, which is perfect. She's getting a lot of database ads and a lot of things. But relationships are built off of stronger things. Relationships are built off of interactions, phone calls, face-to-faces, right? I say this a lot about how the human brain works. If I were to have 3 types of relationships, not romantic relationships, 3 friendship relationships, and the one friendship I can only ever text. Okay, they don't have cell phone service, or I don't, or whatever. Like they make it up. I can only text that person. Or my second relationship, I can text and phone call that person. Or my third relationship, I can text, phone call, and meet them face to face. If you take and you do the same interactions, the same touches, so you touch these 3 people 10 times, after the 10th time, what inevitably is the stronger relationship? Humor me, Melanie. Maybe not.
For me, it would be more face to faces, but that's my preference.
Well, it's
'Cause
not your
I'm-
preference. You're human. That's
like I said, I'm the untechie. So like when you start talking about the whole TikTok and Facebook and all of that, I don't have all that. So for me, it
No.
would be face to face.
Well, Okay, maybe I'm delivering this wrong. For everybody, it's face to face. Okay, what best friend do you know or have that you've never met? It doesn't make any sense. I don't have any best friends I've only ever texted. Doesn't make any sense. So people do real estate with people they know, love, and trust. How do you get to know, love, and trust somebody? You have a relationship with them. How is the fastest relationship built? One in which you can call, text, and enter in face to face. So when I say the law of averages of 1 out of 1,000, you can drastically cut that in half and say 1 out of every 50, I get a lead, because those people you're probably meeting face to face. It's just easier. So you're no different, Melanie. So there's not a right and wrong. I just go to the baseline of 1 out of 1,000. So if you want a closing in 3 months, then that means in your first 60 days, you need to have anywhere between 16 and 23 contacts a day. And I mark my words, you'll have your first closing in 3 months, guaranteed. Because that's what I ended up starting doing. So now to answer your question, you don't like to cold call. In the heat, I doubt you're gonna ever stand and do 5 or 6 days a week door knocking in the heat to get 23 contacts in. If you do, great, then we don't have any issues. We don't have to talk about anything, but you're human. And I know that. And I also know that no matter how much we want or say we're going to do something consistently, if you've never been door knocking before, and then all of a sudden you start day 1 at 23 contacts and you do it next day, the next day, the next day, it's going to be like you going to the gym and starting off with 10 miles on the treadmill and you've never ran in your life. Your feet are going to fall off by the time the week is over because you've ran 50 miles in week number 1 and you've never ran before in your life. So if door knocking is your thing, that's great, but understand that your body's probably not going to be able to handle it after so many days. So we got to sprinkle some other lead generation pieces in. For me, that's where I learned that cold calling. So I'm kind of the same way, Melanie. Door knocking was a lot easier for me because people very much could hang up their phone on me. I take no for an answer on the phone a lot easier. So I started door knocking, and what I realized is that a cold calling script is the exact same script as a door knocking script. And so I started sprinkling that in. You may or may not. I did more and more open houses. So people that follow me in my journey through real estate, they'll know that I used to grab an open house about every Wednesday. So every Wednesday I would have an open house at a vacant property. I would take my laptop, my phone, and have a hotspot. I would take a chair because the home is vacant, and I'd sit in the house from about 10 to 4, sometimes 9 to 3, sometimes 9 to 4, it doesn't matter, but a 4 to 6 hour chunk. And I would call the neighborhood. And this is my script. Hey, what's going on? My name is Bruce Carley, and I'm not sure if we talked because I was knocking on your doors yesterday about this open house I'm doing today. I'm actually down the street sitting in this house, and I wanted to invite some neighbors in because I'm bored. Do you want to see what your neighbor's house looks like? Okay, great. Have a nice day. And I'd bang through those phone calls at the open house. People would still walk in, so I get those contacts. Monday and Tuesday before the open house, I would door knock. And I built my entire business off of like stuff like that. If you can't get your contacts in door knocking at open houses and you don't like the cold call, then you need a sphere. If you don't have a sphere of influence, then you need to go build one. And you need to go and ask tenaciously at grocery stores. Every time I'm in the grocery store and I have time, I don't go to the self-checkout line and go and get out of there. I find a line that has like 2 or 3 people and I go stand in it. And I always have my name tag on, and I always spark up a conversation with the person in front of me. And then you ever get that person that comes up behind you at a grocery store? Do like this. Oh, shoot, you scared me. Sorry about that. It sparks up conversations quickly. I can get 2 people at the grocery store just in line, and then I can get this cashier. And then I usually can get 1 or 2 people in the grocery store. So one grocery store trip for a gallon of milk and a loaf of bread, I can effectively usually get about 4 to 5 contacts in. When I decided that
I have
I
a question.
wanted this, that's what I started doing. Yeah.
So contact can also be contacting in our database. That doesn't necessarily mean brand new contact. It means having contact about real estate.
Yep. Now you get
Okay,
it.
so do you get what I'm like? I'm thinking a brand new contact versus like just having contact with our database about real estate.
Yeah, I never
Because-
said anything about brand new contact, old contact. I said 1,000 people about real estate.
Okay, so
whether
we
you
can-
know them,
that-
whether you don't know
yeah.
them, yep. My database has been contacted thousands of times.
Okay, Bruce, so when are you available to take to the grocery store?
I love that. So Tuesdays at 3, I do coffee in Longmont, and there's a King Supers right next door. And I'm getting very intentional with this agent I've been meeting, because he's got all these drunk monkeys up here. Well, what's a contact? And I've already talked to my database. I don't know what to say to them again. He's got all these birds chirping in his head. And yes, one of these days, I told him, I'm going to go take you into King Supers over there, and you and I both are going to go get 5 contacts, and I'll show you how easy it is.
I want
It's
to
just
be in on that group.
we're just so damn afraid of it. I ask every one of you to go do this and ask me if you got punched in the face, if you skinned your knee, if you went to the hospital, or if you got in your car, drove away and went, that was easier than I thought. Go up to a grocery store and say, hey, our office has a training coming up, and we are in a contest, and I'd love to win tickets to this. I need to ask 100 people a week who they know that has any sort of real estate interests or needs, because I really want this ticket. I know we're just at the grocery store right now, but I got to ask you, do you know of anybody that has any real estate needs in your life? Maybe somebody looking to sell a home. And they'll say, no. Okay, great. Have a nice day. I'm going to get these tickets. Take care. You will never get punched. You will never get kicked out of a store, because I'm not going up to every patron in the store, right? And my King Super, there's at least 50 to 100 people in that thing any given moment. So for me to go ask 5 people at random different spots, you'll never get kicked out of a store. The only time I've ever got kicked out of a store was when I went to Home Depot and to talk to 100 people in one day. They did not like that. I only got to like 78. But I got to 78 people. I was picking on every customer that walked into Home Depot.
But you didn't
I got-
die, see?
What's that? I didn't
But
die.
You
I
didn't
barely
die,
got-
see?
I barely got kicked. I asked the store manager if he knew of anybody that wanted to sell their home. I just apologized my butt off. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm in this contest and I got to talk to 100 people in one day. And I love Home Depot. Like I drove all the way across town, right past Lowe's, to come to your store. And I realized that I'm breaking the rules. And I apologize. I'm gonna leave now. And you're going to see me back in your store because I love this place, but you'll never see me do that again. I really want to win these tickets to this training. And I talked to 78 people. And he goes, you talked to 78 people? I only had one person complain. And I was like, that's awesome. Can you be my 79th? Do you know of anybody that's looking to buy or sell real estate in the near future? And he laughed. Like he just was like, get out of here. Like, that's awesome. No, I don't. Like, just get out of here for today. I'll see you the next time you get to buy some wood. You guys have to understand this is a job. If you guys don't have your real estate hat on everywhere you go, that's why you can't get contacts in, because you probably walk by opportunities every single day. I have met some of the best investors I've ever met at Home Depots and Lowe's and Budget Home Supply. They're working on houses that they're trying to flip and they don't know their butt from their hand. They need CMAs. It's a gold mine in those places for real estate. Oh yeah, I'm renovating my house because I'm thinking about selling it, but my husband really wants to stay. So we might just end up, finishing the basement. Oh, hey, I got a contractor. I'm a real estate agent, but I'm not looking to like sell your house. I'm looking to help you. Do you have a contractor that you would like to interview for a basement remodel? And now my contractor loves me because I just feed him deals all the time. And those who feed deals feed the other person. I love this conversation, Melanie. We miss so many opportunities. The first time I got started, Ignite told me to do 10 contacts a day, and I was much like you guys. Where do I get contacts? How do I do this? I don't really want to cold call. I don't really want to door knock. I don't really want to do this job. And then I decided, okay, I need to just figure this out. I need to figure this out. And I watched a video on YouTube, and it said, just start telling people that you're practicing. Go knock on a door and say, hey, I'm a little nervous to knock on your door today. It's my first day even if it's your 14th year on the job, go knock on the door and say, it's my first day on the job. And I just got my license in real estate, and I'm just nervous. And so I decided what better way to just knock on a door and tell you that I'm nervous. I got nothing in my hands. I got no flyer. I need to get comfortable with asking people if they have any real estate needs. So I appreciate you answering the door. I probably won't talk to you later because I'm still nervous. Have a nice day. I started doing that in grocery stores. I started doing that at cold calling. I started doing that at open houses. Hey, this is my first open house ever. And so I ask me any questions you want. I'm trying to learn the real estate game. And once I started putting that out to the public, they're all willing to help you, especially when you say first day on the job, first week on the job, second week on the job. I'm nervous. It took a lot of tenacity for me to knock on your door tonight. People go, what? And then they'll stop and go, oh man, I've been there. Kudos to you, man, for getting out there and getting after it. You know, I don't think enough people in this world hustle. You hear that stuff all the time when you just do that. And guess what happens? You brought up real estate. It's a contact. You start to get leads from telling people you're brand new. And you start to learn more about the industry. You start to learn more about what the general public really, really wants to know. We all get tripped up in thinking we want to just sit there and know everything about the market and have all of these answers in our head. And well, what if they ask me this stat? I don't know it. I got to look this up. And next thing you know, you're analysis paralysis. You're looking at stats online for 14 hours. You're YouTubing videos about how to lead generate. And we're not going out and talking to people. If you guys are having a hard time talking to people, take me to the grocery store. Buy me a beer. I'll show you how to do this. Because it's literally what I just told you. That's all I do. Hey, what's going on, man? This is awkward because we're both buying asparagus at the grocery store, but I'm in a contest to talk to 100 people a week about real estate because my office will pay for my $500 training. Do you know of anybody in your life that has any real estate questions? And as soon as they say no, I say, fantastic, man. I appreciate you taking the time. I'm going about my day. See you. A no is still a two-way conversation because you ask for real estate. And what you'll start to realize is that after 1,000 people, you're going to get no after 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 no. How annoying is that? And then all of a sudden you get well, this is kind of weird. Who set you up to this? My nephew just called me from Nebraska and he says he's moving out here and he wants to buy a house. Who set you up to this? And you're like, holy crap. I just heard no 150 times. And now this, your nephew, and you get all nervous, but you did it. You got to lead. Get all nervous, get all shaky, get all excited. Who cares if you get contact information? It's your first lead ever. Get excited that you got through that many no's. And now all of a sudden, somebody's like, actually, yeah. It's so fun. I love real estate, you guys. Take me with you. Oh man, you guys all have a way to my heart. I love food and beer. I will do it with you. This guy that I meet every Tuesday at 3 o'clock, not every Tuesday, because if he has something going on, I tell him, take what you got going on. If I have something going on, I take it too. But we started this about 2 months ago, and I'd say about 3 out of the 4 weeks a month, we're there. I'm happy to do the same thing with you guys. I would like to get a group going though. You guys are all so petrified of doing this job.
I think a group would be great because it is kind of scary, especially when you're doing it for the first time.
It's super scary. And that's why I learned, oh, I like that. Just tell somebody I'm nervous. Just tell them I'm scary. I can't remember if the YouTube video was called Get to Know or Fall on Your Sword or something like that. I don't know what it was. I made several links with random construction guys or other service people in restaurants. I just say, hey, I noticed the logo on your shirt to start the combo. I made a ton of networking links that way. Jackie, love that, right? Just we put so much pressure on ourselves to ask for the real estate business. Just bring it up. I'm in a contest. My office is going to pay for a training that I really want to go to. And I got to ask 100 people this week who they know that has real estate questions. Do you know of anybody? And then as soon as they say no, take it, just take it. And okay, great. Thanks. Have a nice day. Oh, you guys, I know a book. Oh, we need to talk about the call method too. Duh.
I have a quick question.
Nope, you're all out of questions. Go ahead.
Come on, one more. When you were saying tell people you're new and tell people you're nervous and like this is your first open house, have you had any negatives to that where someone's like, oh, I don't want to work with someone brand new?
No, because they don't even say it. They don't even tell you they're a lead. It just helps you get over the fear.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't say, oh, well, we were thinking about working with you, but now we're not. Like, no one says that. They just say, oh, well, that's cool. Like, good, congratulations, I'll get your license. You know, you're doing a great job. I mean, we just came to see the house. And then you go, okay, great. Well, do you guys have any questions about real estate? Like, help me practice. Like, what kind of questions you guys have? And I'll get the answers back to you. You don't have to work with me. Just give me your email and I'll get your questions answered. And I got a lot of contacts that way. I got a lot of database ads that way.
That's big help because that's kind of where I'm at, where I'm like nervous to tell people that I'm new. But at the same time, if I tell someone I'm new, it makes it a lot easier.
So I got a caveat to that. If they're people you already know, love, and trust, don't tell them you're new. Just tell them you made a transition to real estate and that you're working on a lot of things that are going to make you great or something like that. Strangers, tell them you're new. Who gives a crap if they tell you to buzz off? Because they won't. As soon as they tell you you're new, you know how many times people go, oh, I was new once. Yeah, I know exactly, man. I'm in sales. Trust me. I've been doing this for 13 years and I remember my first day on the job. You start to create so many cool conversations telling strangers that you're new and that you're practicing and that you're going to get this. And when you have the demeanor that you just absolutely don't give a flying rat's crap if you get a lead from them, just have that demeanor. I'm new, man. I don't even expect anything out of this conversation. I just want to tell you I'm new, I'm nervous, and this is my first open house. So take a look around and let me know if you have any questions. And it works.
Okay.
It's so cool.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Anytime that I get nervous, I still get nervous, you guys. Everybody thinks that Bruce is rock solid and yeah, blah, blah, blah. No, my armpits sweat. I start getting all nervous. Somebody takes me to a grocery store and says, Bruce, go ask somebody for a real estate lead. I gotta psych myself up. I go, let's go. All right. And then I go up to him and I say, hey, what's going on? I know this is weird. We're in a grocery store. I'm in a contest though, and I want to win tickets to this training my office has. So I have to ask 100 people this week who they know that wants to buy or sell real estate. Do you know of anybody that wants to buy or sell real estate? And I just let pause, awkward silence do the heavy lifting, and they'll say no. They'll say no 99 times, you guys. 99 times. Can you guys all see my screen?
Yes.
This book right here. Grab it. It's amazing. It's amazing. You know how we track contacts and leads. This tells you how to track no's. Track no's. You want no's. Get frustrated when people say yes. Go for no. It's amazing. That book's awesome. I don't have it on Audible because I had a paper copy of it, but it's amazing. You guys want some other books in here? I think we all need to wrap our mindset around. We're all so damn afraid to go up to somebody in a grocery store. And I literally have never, ever, 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 ever been cussed out at a grocery store. I've only ever been cussed out door knocking. Sometimes I've been cussed out cold calling, I guess, but never once have I been cussed out at Home Depot or a grocery store. And when I got kicked out of Home Depot, the dude was laughing. I love books that get my mind right. This one's I'm on right now. This one's pretty cool. So far a little boring. It's just talking about his life. I want to talk about Elon's brain. The road less stupid. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Don't take this offensively, but Julie, you need to read The Road Less Stupid. That book was powerful. Simple Path to Wealth. That was pretty cool about investing. But let's get some my best ones yet. Winning. Tim S. Grover. Anything by Tim S. Grover, I'll read all day long. Tribe of Millionaires. That was really cool. That talks about how we can't succeed alone. If you guys are out door knocking alone and go out there for 15, 20 minutes and you guys just are bored and not getting after it, it's because you don't have any sort of help, accountability. Fierce Conversations. Oh, so good. Very similar to Go for No. Fierce Conversations. How to live and have a work-life balance. If you guys are trying to make contacts and create all these relationships with people in your database, in your sphere, and you're having 20, 30, 40-minute conversations with people, but you go home to your spouse, your kids, your friends, and you don't feel like talking to them, it's because you're not being truthful, you're not being fierce at work. I mean, get in, get out, and on your way. Green Lights, that was cool. There's another one by Tim Grover that I love, and it's called Relentless. If you guys think that I'm a pretty abrasive person, read Relentless and you'll see why. This is like, this guy, he just hit me to a T. It's not for everybody. Be careful reading Relentless if you have a sensitive soul. That is not for the sensitive type of person. And then I love Robert Kiyosaki. Retire Young, Retire Rich. Robert Kiyosaki is awesome. Boundaries for any of you guys that are spiritual. So I have a big Christian-based spiritual belief. Boundaries is one of those things that has caused me to not say yes to everybody, and understand why that I can still be a Lord's servant and still basically say yes to things that I need to and no to things I don't, and set boundaries with the people in my life. Okay to lose friendships, but okay to build better friendships. Psychology of Money. Oh man, that one hit home. I was so used to making $50,000 a year in Ohio, and when I come out here, you basically have to make like 80 to live by yourself, or you have to go find a roommate or somebody. And the Psychology of Money got me out of that path of $50,000 a year. Now my mind is with abundance, and I want to give. I want to give back to charities. I want to give to schools. I want to give my time. One of my big passions is to people that always tell me they don't have money to donate, but they have time and want to serve, like have a servant's heart. I want to pay for everyone's plane tickets to go across the seas to help people in Kenya, Africa, Haiti, even Atlanta, Georgia. There's a lot of things that we can do in Atlanta, Georgia. Anyways, I'm getting off tangent. I love these books that help grow my mind. Oh, Leaders Eat Last. Leaders Eat Last. Why some teams pull together and others don't. Oh, you guys will start to notice a theme. Any sort of business books, any self-help development books, it all talks about how we can't do this life alone. Don't try and do things alone. If you're door knocking and you can't figure it out, go door knock with somebody, and I guarantee you'll triple your success. The call method. Let's talk about that. So the call method, it's not the right one. The call method is a way to be in and out and effective with your conversations. So CALL. Create a call to action in the form of and then create a call to action and then ask. So CA. So here's my call to action. This is I use this method for my quarterly calls. So I'd call everybody in my database quarterly, and I want a call to action. So I only need 4 calls to action every single quarter. For the first quarter, it was all about the fires in Lafayette, Louisville, Superior. And the call to action was insurance. 80% of people in that area did not have the adequate homeowners insurance to rebuild their home. 80%, and we lost a lot of homes, guys. So there are some people that are going to have to rebuild their home and come up with a lot of money out of pocket. There are some people that are going to have to take their insurance check that doesn't cover a fraction of the cost of their home and go use that as a down payment on another home, or take that money and pay off their loan, and they're left with $25,000, $30,000 and they don't have any home now. And interest rates have went up, property values have went up. There are a lot of people screwed in that neighborhood, and it's awful. I feel so bad for them. So because I have that energy to feel bad for them, then I use that energy for my call to action. My energy, same thing with my energy going to a grocery store and saying I'm in a contest. I don't just walk up to somebody and say, "Hi, my name is Bruce. I'm a local area real estate expert, and I need to know who you know in your world that has any real estate questions." I don't have any passion behind it. Like that's going to make me clammy. So call to action, 80%. Hey, Jake, man, good morning. Hey, man, I'm just making my rounds like I do every couple of months to people in my friends list. And I did not know this, but I just found out that 80% of everybody in Lafayette, Louisville, Superior, the Marshall Fires, God, Jake, they 80% of them didn't have adequate homeowners insurance. I know you bought a home off me 4 years ago, or I know that you own your own home, or I know that you're renting right now, whatever that is, right? Say whatever. I know that you're renting right now, Jake. And so it's not like you own your own home, but like, do you have renter's insurance? Like, what if the home that you're living in right now burns to the ground? Can you afford to go buy, 4 new pairs of jeans at $35, $50 a pop, plus all your shirts, underwear, clothes, your TVs, your furniture? Like, I know you probably got a lot of your furniture off Craigslist and Marketplace and stuff like that, but can you afford to refurnish your life overnight? And he's
No,
gonna
I
go,
can't, and I don't have insurance. I'll call my insurance guy tomorrow. I appreciate it.
awesome. Well, hey, how long you been with your insurance guy?
Oh, years.
Years. When's the last time you changed up your policy?
Oh, it's been a long time.
All right. Well, hey, I don't get any money or any kickbacks from this, but what I've learned is our in-house insurance rep at Keller Williams here, he has ties to over 40 different insurance companies. So like where a lot of insurance reps, they work for a certain company, they're only able to offer people like, you, their products at their firm. We actually have an in-house guy that can vet 40 different insurance companies all at once to maybe save you a buck, or here's what I do with my own house. I pay the same amount of money for my insurance premiums every year, Jake, and I got $1 million worth of coverage on different things. If somebody falls at my house, medical bills are covered. I don't have to worry about it. If my house burns down, I got full replacement value. And I pay the same amount of money because this guy was able to just shoot it out to 40 different companies. So let me do you this. As soon as I'm done making my calls for the day, I'm not going to send it to you right away, but maybe later on this afternoon, you're going to get my insurance rep's contact information. Do with it what you want. You don't have to call him. I don't get any kickbacks from this. I simply just know that people like you in my life need to be covered, because if you ever have your house burnt down or whatever that looks like, you're going to have the money to go buy a house with me. So let's do the right thing, man. And I think you owe it to yourself to at least talk to the guy you already have and the new guy. His name's Marcus. He's awesome. You'll actually probably get to know him pretty well. But anyways, I'll shoot you his contact information down the road. And I got to get off the phone now to call somebody else. Talk to you soon. You guys, that was 3 minutes. I watched the clock. That was 3 minutes. This is why I get 10 contacts in 1 hour. You can do the same. So I call to action, insurance. Ask the question, have you ever ran your insurance, right? Listen to what Jake said.
I've noticed too,
I'm drawing a blank on the last L.
if you do offer that help that you don't get the kickbacks on, often they'll come to you just because of that alone, because you've offered help without expecting something back right away.
Yep, exactly. Great job, Melanie. 3 minutes call. And I'm drawing a blank on the last L. Call to action, ask the question, listen to the person. I don't know what the last L is, but that was a good example of what I do. 3 minutes, that's it. A lot of people ask me in lead generation through my database, what is the lend a hand? Darcy, you know what the call method is? That's awesome. I forget what I was gonna say. Oh, voicemails for your database in your sphere. All right. I think a lot of us are also like, we're in relationship to, almost like with your database, take away real estate, like take away the pressure, just bring up real estate. So with my database, when I'm doing my quarterly calls, this is how that quarterly call looks. Hey, what's going on, Jake? Sorry I missed you, man. It's Bruce. Hey, I'm calling today about the Marshall fires in Lafayette, Louisville, Superior. And 80% of people did not have adequate insurance coverage. So at the end of today, I'm going to send to you and everybody I talk to my insurance rep's number. Feel free to give him a call, but I know you're like everybody else and you're not going to give him a call because you don't know him. So give me a shout whenever you get a chance. And I'd like to explain to you why I'm sending you his contact information. Talk to you soon, Jake. Later. 30 seconds. Dial the next phone number. Hey, what's going on, Julie? It's Bruce. Sorry I missed you. Leave like 40 voicemails and you'll talk to about 10 people, 3 minutes a pop, and you're good. Let's roll. Questions? All right, we hit lead gen hard. All right, contacts to appointments. Appointments are one in which you talk about a buyer's presentation or seller's presentation. Any other terms you guys want to define? Okay. Present, we'll talk about that later. Say it again for me.
Obviously I'm pretty new. I was wondering if you could go over what's in a buyer's representation or seller's presentation.
What's in a buyer's presentation or seller's presentation?
Yeah.
For the sake of this video, I won't go through it all, but yes, Connor, let's show you how to see a couple of examples. One, you guys need to all have, and Connor, I know you're new, man. I know you're just getting started, so I don't expect you to have everything. I want everybody to have our brand new coach's contact information. Claudia is our guru for everything contracts. Claudia is our guru for our contacts or our contracts, as well as, oh, I can't copy paste. Son of a gun. She will help you with contracts as well as your buyer and seller presentation. For the sake of Ignite, that is a great question. Let's jump into exactly how to get there. So you're going to go into command. And then you're going to go over here to designs. All right. And then what you'll see is these will be your designs that you've created. And then what you can do is create design. I like to do print or email for these types of buyer or seller presentations. And then you're going to go down to listings, listing presentation. And here's a bunch of templates that you guys can look through and choose from and utilize. So you're going to use. And now Connor, what you're going to work on with Claudia is what is important to have in here and what is not. I will tell you that a lot of times people get very analysis paralysis, man. You don't seem like that type because you are absolutely pretty type A. But when you get in here, you can start to design all of it. Where the heck is all of the
Bruce, can you hear me?
slides? Yeah, I can. Go.
Yeah, okay. Also in Google Drive under productivity coaching, you can go to sellers and buyers and there'll be listing presentations in there as well. And if that doesn't help you, I have a couple. You can call me, email me, and I'll send you some examples.
Perfect. Yeah, you guys can take this and then you guys can edit everything in here. So here, there are 29 slides. I really want to harp on this. Do not do all 29 slides in your seller presentation unless you absolutely know for a 100% fact you're gonna go over them or they're relevant to what you say and do. My buyer and seller presentations are short. My buyer presentation is 4 pages. My seller presentation is about probably 10 pages. There ain't no 29 pages. Edit this. You can change out photos. You can change out all of this. Just double click in it, get it going. Upload. It takes a second, but the time and effort you put into this, if you have 8 hours in the day and all I expect you to do is your 5 jobs and 3 of which you cannot do because you don't have any appointments to go on, you don't have any deals to negotiate, you have no closings, then you have 2 jobs: lead generate, train, scripts, and role play. That should take you about 4 hours a day. You have another 4 hours in the afternoon to create one of these things. I don't find that we're taking enough time to dive into our business, you guys. And this design center is amazing. Pumps out stuff that wows people. Again, don't get caught up in the design. Just because you do or don't like it, you don't know what the general public does. Keller Williams hires actual people who have marketing degrees to create something that they know the general public, for the most part, loves to see and is visually appealing. So if you say you don't like it, and then you go to Canva and you don't like any of theirs, and you want to hire a graphic designer to create your own spec, you're wasting your time, money, and effort. That stuff does not work. How you present the material is what gets you the listing, not your fancy little design on here. But these look pretty fancy and they're slick and they will do the job. What Harry's talking about is our Google Drive. So everybody that's in here should have this. If you just joined us, you're probably getting these resources. So if you go into our Google Drive for productivity coaching, and Harry said, go to buyers. Here literally is the buyer's presentation that I've used for years. Hardly ever change it. And like I said, I only usually ever take 4 sheets of paper with me unless I know they're looking at a new build. Then if I could basically get a call right now and say, hey, Bruce, can you meet me at 11 for a buyer's consultation? The only 2 things I would ever print would be this buyer lead sheet and the flow chart. Everything else I can talk about and get to the point. But the 4 things that I used to bring with me was the flow chart, the lead sheet, the loyalty agreement, and then a little bit about KW, a little bit about a team if you're on a team. This was back when I was on the Wise team. So those are the 4 things that I bring. And then if I have a builder client, like somebody wants to look at new builds, I take these 3. This one, and this one. This is from the Builder Realty Council. And this one is awesome. Are you planning to buy a new build home? Then you need a real estate agent to help you. This is from the Builder Realty Council. I don't even have to sell my clients anymore on how and why they need to use me. It says they need to use you. The builder will pay your agent a commission. It's there. So that's my buyer's presentation, Connor. Yours will probably look a little bit more robust than mine because you guys, a little known fact, I didn't have designs in command when I first started. You guys have the luxury of having paid for marketing ready to be edited and used. Can you send the new build form? What can you send? Darcy, do you have access to this Google Drive? They're right here for all of us.
Yes, so they're under which, oh, just the, let me
Yep.
try to
So
pull it.
I'll put it in the chat, but so
Okay.
productivity coaching, then just double click on buyers folder, sample buyers consult.
Perfect.
Yeah, nice question. And then like Harry said, there's another one in here. So take a look, but also understand that if you have a 29-page buyer's presentation packet, you better practice that a ton so you know what to talk about and how, when people ask for it. I'll tell you that. Awesome. Any other questions before we go? I love this Ignite series. It just gets into the nitty-gritty.
Chris, do you know if we're going to have any in-person classes where we could like team up with somebody and just practice scripts?
Yeah, so every single Tuesday from 8:30 to 9 in person at the location that our team meetings at. So
Okay.
these first 2 weeks in June, we did in-person scripts from 8:30 to 9, and then we did a power hour from 9 to 10, where people make contacts. They email their database, they text their database, they make phone calls to their database. One person was calling internet leads, one person was calling around the neighborhood. People were practicing door knocking scripts. It was awesome, in person every single Tuesday. And then it's in respects to where the team meeting is for that week. So these last 2
Okay.
weeks have been in Firestone. Next week, we'll be doing that in Fort Collins. And then the following week, Fort Collins, and then back around.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Yeah. And then on that same notion, Melanie, there are, so I have been watching you guys. There are a couple people that are actually grabbing accountability partners. Rachel West and Barrett Ingvoldson have became accountability partners because they both couldn't make themselves call their database. So they locked themselves in an office and they called their database. And Rachel now has 3 leads and Barrett has 1, and they've only been calling for 3 days. So yeah, Melanie, that's why the PC Facebook page was created. Put it out there. Hey, I want to come into the office this day and this time. Who's with me? We're going to lead generate. Let's go. Or I want to come into the office this day and this time, and I want to work on scripts. Let's go. If you guys want to work on scripts with me in person, Tuesdays, 8:30 to 9, every single Tuesday. Great question. Any others? You guys, this is interactive, man. I love what you guys, I want to know everything you guys want to know, learn. I want to dive into the nitty gritty on any topic you guys have.
Hey Bruce, with this this tracker thing, with golden letters, where would I put those in? Not thank you cards or anything.
Are
like
you
that.
sending them out?
Right now I'm emailing them out, and I'm working with Grant to get his stuff put on with my golden letter and printed out, and then I'll send those out. So those will be sent out or door knocked, either one.
I love that question, Jake. All right, it's time to bust this bad lad out. And I will share it with you guys. I actually think I might have it on here.
I think it's on the Google Drive too.
You're darn right it is. Good call. I just added it to it. All right, here's the greatness tracker. And Jake just said a great thing. Going back to the productivity coaching drive, if you go into accountability and tracking, there is a greatness tracker in here. All right. This is the thing. So core training, if you guys want elevated training, it costs a lot of money. I went through core training as part of my progression from, I needed to figure out how to go through and bust through 40 transactions because my goal was 50 deals in 1 year. I took this core training class and they got me to 50 transactions in 1 year. But you know what? I said that wrong. I absolutely said that so wrong. Core training did not get me 50 deals in 1 year. Core training did not pick up my phone and call. Core training did not write my handwritten notes for me. They didn't do anything for me besides give me some tools that I needed to implement. So this greatness tracker is what gets somebody a deal in 90 days. It's like a guaranteed piece of science if you do this. So each week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the weekend, you want to effectively go face to face with 15 people. Face to face. Now, if you watch, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is 5. 3 face-to-faces is 15. So you got some grace over here. So like a lot of this thing needs to be filled out. Your goal is 15 face-to-faces. So that could be door knocking. That could be going up to people at grocery stores. It's different than meeting somebody face-to-face for a coffee or a lunch. That is breaking bread. 5 of those a week. 15 random strangers or people you know. 15 pop buys. Face-to-faces are also pop buys, right? Door knocking, popping by your sphere, grocery stores, Home Depots, the bank, the oil change place, the chiropractor. 15 face-to-faces where you ask for business. 5 breaking breads. Invite people out for coffee, not agents, your database. Invite people out for coffee, for a beer, for food. Invite them over to your house. You guys, I don't know about you, but I squeak when I walk. I don't like spending money on business for things that aren't going to be that great, right? I take Jake out to eat. The next thing I know, he's ordering the $30 steak, and I've got a $10 shaved steak sandwich, right? Don't have to spend a lot of money. Invite people over to your house. Hey, I'm having some pizza over at my house to watch the Avs game tonight. Go to Papa Murphy's and get their $10 Tuesday specials. Put it in your fridge, pop it in the oven tonight for dinner. Invite people over to the Avs game and invite 5 people and knock it out in one session. But talk to them about real estate. Great phone calls with leads, with referral partners, with past clients, current clients, and I'll add a little thing on here, with people you don't know. You want 60 of those in 1 week.
Now,
Seminars.
if I do more face-to-face than calls, so can I substitute?
1000%, Jake.
Okay, sweet, cool.
The only thing that you can't do is you can't make up your face-to-face with phone calls, because it goes back to the relationship. The best relationships, nobody in here has ever had a boyfriend or a spouse that they didn't meet. And if you did, that was a pen pal, or you were on that show Catfish. So face-to-face trumps any other metric. You can have 100 face-to-faces and no phone calls. I'm cool with that. But you can't have 100 phone calls and no face-to-faces. Doesn't work like that. Good question. Seminars attended. Go ahead and mark it off right now. It's Wednesday. You guys are attending Ignite. Track your hours prospected, you guys. How many hours did you actually work on Monday through this thing? Tuesday, whatever. 10 thank you cards a week. So that's 2 a day, 5 days a week. If you're not doing it, it's because you probably don't have note cards. Come get them from me at the office.
Quick question.
Yeah.
If you don't have like past clients or anyone to really send thank you cards to, who would you, because I was thinking to just send them to my sphere, but I feel like that might be a little weird to send a card to someone that, I don't know.
When you think of the word business, what kind of emotion comes to mind? Exactly. If business is emotionless and you're thinking too much and you're feeling too much. Send them a thank you card. Thank you for being a part of my life. I'm really enjoying my new transition to real estate. I hope you have a great summer.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. Take feelings out of it. Thank you cards to your database are amazing. They love it. They don't even care what it says. They just like to see that you sent them a handwritten note. That's what it really is.
Hey, if you need any kind of service, just give me a call. I mean, it can be anything, right? So.
Yep. Track your leads. Your goal is 10 leads in 1 week. What did I just say at the beginning of this? 1,000 people to 10 leads. This greatness work for 10 leads. What you'll start to see is that you'll start to ask people for more business. You know, the number one way that people go from 1,000 to a 1 out of 100, so 100 contacts to 1 lead, to instantaneously go to 50 to 1. Instead of just bringing up real estate, they ask for real estate business? Did you know? And you guys have all done this at department stores, grocery stores, car dealerships. Did you know that when somebody just brings up stuff and you are an actual viable buyer, but they don't ask you, you tend to say no? Walk into a department store. Hey, may I help you find anything today? No. Instead of, hey, I know that you came into this grocery store today, or I know you came into this department store today to possibly look at something. Are you looking at shoes or clothes? Well, I'm actually looking at suits. Okay, right this way. I'll show you where they're at. And if you have any questions, let me know. You see the difference in that? At an open house. Oh, what brings you out today? Oh, just, kind of driving around. Our kids are, in soccer down the street, and we just thought we'd take a look. Okay, great. Have a look. Or, hey, welcome into the open house today. What brought you in? Oh, we're just out looking around. We got a couple of kids that are, playing soccer. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I'll tell you what, no one just randomly comes in open houses unless they have real estate on their mind. So are you looking to buy a house in the next 6 months or 2 years? You guys see the difference in how lead generation can actually go? You pretty much can get a lead out of 1 out of 100 if you just say, I'm in real estate. How are you today? Have a great summer. You'll get somebody that says, oh, you're in real estate? I got a question for you. As soon as you change it to an ask, you can go to 50 to 1 quickly, 35 to 1 quickly, and you can get 10 leads in a week. That's your goal. I don't expect people to hit that, but this system, it proves that you can. And then 3 deals. What's a deal? Is that a closing? Is that a contract? It's a deal.
You were saying under contract, so.
Yeah,
earlier
under
at
an
least,
exclusive right
so.
to buy, under an exclusive right to sell, under contract on a house, right? What's not in here, you guys? Appointments. We put so much darn pressure on ourselves to get an appointment out of one conversation. We want every conversation to come up with an appointment. It doesn't happen like that. You got to get contacts first, then leads will turn into appointments. Don't focus on appointments yet. Focus on getting out there and getting tenacious about your business. Good bring up here. Oh, yeah.
So the golden letters, if you're sending them, would that be like?
So what's a contact?
If I'm door knocking them, it's going to be face to face.
Okay.
But
what do you
I'm like emailing them or like sending them postage, do you even put it on there or like on the tracker?
I'm being
or
a
is it
little
just kind of
silly.
like hours prospected, I guess.
There you go. Hours prospected. Yeah. Unless you get a phone call from your mailer or you get an email response back, you're not counting any of that.
Yeah, I mean, a contact is you having a discussion with somebody about real estate.
Yep. All right, it's one person. We're not going any further until one person tells me something that they've learned so far.
I have figured out what a contact is and what it is not. And that has been a question from day 1. And I'm on like week 16.
Progress
was at
with a
that same
smile.
point, Julie and I had a whole conversation with Bruce about it. I still remember it. We were in the office and everything.
I think I've had maybe 20 conversations about this and maybe just now have some clarity.
Recognize your fiduciary duty as client. Let's see how many slides are on this. All right, not too many. This is gonna be a short topic. All right, fiduciary versus functionary. All right, we automatically get asked questions and we go into functionary mode. I want to define that for you guys. When somebody says, hey, Bruce, I really like this piece of property. It's got a house on it and it's got 4 acres. Do you think that I can subdivide that?
You have no idea.
How would you respond though? See, a lot of agents respond functionary instead of fiduciary.
Let me make some calls and I'll call you back and find out for you.
Do you have a license in planning and zoning for a county? You're functionary. I get it. You're trying to help your clients, but you cannot do it. You know why? The moment you call planning and zoning, get that answer and send it to your clients, and they're not the ones who have ever gotten that from the horse's mouth. And things that you said are wrong because you talked to an hourly receptionist you didn't even talk to a planning and zoning voter. You talked to a receptionist who gave you what they thought to be true. Your buyer goes and closes on that home, and now they can't subdivide that land. Who's at fault? The buyer or you? You. Quit being the functionary. We are only experts in what?
Next to people or negotiating the deal.
Our license, law, contracts, these things here. And if you read through any one of these contracts, it says nothing about county records, planning and zoning, lending, nothing. So don't do it, you guys. Don't do it. I know we all want to be functionaries. We all want to help our clients. Oh, let me get an answer for you. You only call back and get an answer for them for stuff where our license law has. And I want to harp on that, you guys, because I have seen some agents get kicked out of this industry for helping a citizen of the public. Isn't that stupid? I know an agent right here in our Longmont Market Center who got I think it was like a $500 fine because she went into public records, straight up public records, okay? Went into public records, found out what their client's question was, emailed them back and said, public records shows that this is your answer. That is wrong. It doesn't sound wrong. That's wrong. Because public records is deemed unreliable and has mistakes.
So
It's a
I've
weird
ran
anomaly,
into
right?
that position before, Bruce, where there's been, say, a business and a residential, property on a certain land, and they're asking you about the zoning. Where do you send them for that information? Because obviously I don't know enough about it to give that to them, and I don't want to. So where would I send them for that?
Great question. So you are not going to be in the wrong if you say,
I lost you. Can't hear you.
Yeah, are you there? Is it my phone? Is it me?
No, I can't hear you. Okay.
Yeah, it's Bruce. So real quick on that one, who said, well, why can't I do it for him? That's, I've got to help them out. And I'm like, I want you to help them out. And helping them out is to direct them where they should go. That's how you help them out. You say to them, just like Bruce was saying, call these people or call those people. That's helping them. By you doing it, you're not helping them, because remember, many years ago, I used to do this thing with all my folks that work for me, and we'd start a line and I would tell Bruce, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. By the time it got to the 9th person, it was no longer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In other words, you give them a sentence to say, and that sentence gets changed. That's what Bruce was trying to say, is when you get that information from somewhere, like let's say the building code place, your translation might be different than what that person thought he told you. And now guess who's going to get blamed for it? You. And then guess who's going to get fined for it? You. So
she gets that. So just go to your Boulder County or the county planning and zoning website. I copy and paste the website, copy and paste this, and say, hey, this is, I'm not an expertise in this. And so I need you to get this from the horse's mouth.
Yep.
And give them a shout.
Okay.
I'm happy to be on a 3-way call with you. but I cannot play the telephone game and misinterpret information because my license does not cover that. You don't
Right.
have
I
to go
would
that
much
far.
rather tell them that I'm not able to give them that information, but I can give them a number to call. I would
Yep.
feel much more comfortable with that.
Fantastic. Good job, Melanie. Yep.
Not even feeling comfortable. That's your job. Your job is to relay that information, not
Yep.
call that information. Yep.
Yep. Good
So
job.
brokerage duties, sections 5 and 6 in your exclusive right to buy. Those are your jobs. That's your jobs. That's it. Those are the only things. That's it. Keep it fiduciary. We won't hit this too hard. If they ask questions that aren't in these sections, don't answer them. Get them to the right resource. Again, we're not going to talk about managing your money. We don't have budgets yet because we're not looking at it. All right. I hit on some of this stuff. I have a problem with reading through these slides to get ready for these classes, and then I know what's going to come up, and so I start talking about it earlier. Choose an accountability partner. Choose an accountability partner. Harry and I are coaches, not accountability partners. We're coaches. Please, we can't help you pick up the phone, but I guarantee you somebody in this room can. Just by through osmosis, being in the same room. But here's the bigger thing, guys. Respect each other and respect each other in the process. An accountability partner isn't somebody in which I call up Julie and say, hey, Julie, what's going on? How are your boys today? You're starting off on the wrong foot. That's a friendship. That's a friendship, and that's fine. That has a time and place. But hey, Julie, it's 9:49. How was your day yesterday? And Julie's not going to go, well, it was great. The sun was out. The rainbows were out. The birds were chirping and things were great. No, my day went like this. I made 10 contacts. I sent out 2 handwritten notes. The one thing that I didn't get to and I'm beating myself up for is I needed to do X. So please, I need to do X. Can you text me tonight to make sure I did X? Because I keep forgetting. Okay, great. Julie or Bruce, what the heck did you do? I made 7 contacts. 7 out of 10. What happened? I honestly, life got in the way. All right, so we have 13 today. Bruce, you have 13 contacts today because you had a deficit of 3 yesterday. How many handwritten notes? I did 3 handwritten notes yesterday. All right, take the time and only do 1 instead of 2 and get your other 3 contacts knocked out. Awesome. All right, Julie, Bruce, it's 10:50. We had a minute-long conversation. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Accountability, respect each other's time. If you want to go out and be friends, be friends. That's not an accountability meeting. That's a beer, that's a lunch, that's a coffee. Give feedback.
And an accountability partner isn't one where you call and then all of a sudden Bruce says, oh, I couldn't do it today because my daughter got sick and this and that. That's not the point to what Bruce is trying to say. It's a business and you stick to it. Well, you said you were going to do 10, Bruce, so let's do 20 today and I'll talk to you tomorrow. That's accountability.
Yep. Life gets in the way. I totally respect that. I don't need to know why life got in the way.
Yep.
But it got in the way. Holly, you still on here?
Yes.
When I asked her how many contacts she made, what did you do and what did I do? You told me why and I shut you down. Not because I don't like you, not because I don't want to hear it, but because that continues for the monkeys to chirp. Our consciences constantly chirp at us. And the more we give ourselves, the more we validate, the more we verbalize why we didn't do what we were supposed to, the more we validate that it was okay. If it's okay, it's okay. Leave it be. You don't have to dwell on it.
And then you'll repeat it.
Oh, I must have hit a button to create more slides for that. All right, we're wrapping this up, you guys. Let me make sure that we hit everything today. Let me jump through here real quick. There's your Ford method. I must have hit a wrong button. I duplicated 3 different slides. All right. Yep. I did hit a little bit of thing. We need to talk about just a few more things and we'll get off here. All right. First and foremost, let's go over this again. And I want this to be better next week. I'm simply, if you guys want success for your life, please do not take this as me harping on you. You guys have to do whatever it takes to track what you're doing, right? When you get out of the grocery store, I say this over and over again, and I just don't think people do it. I probably have hundreds of these. I'm happy to give away these things too. Sorry, it's notepads. I have a notepad at my office, in my car, at my home office, right beside my bed. You know how many times Bruce wakes up in the middle of the night freaking out that I didn't do my stuff the right way that day? Notepad by my desk. So I go to a grocery store, I talk to 3 people, I go out to my car, tally 3 people. At the top, it says week of. I put notes on it. Hey, I fumbled on this script. I need to work on this in scripts. Tally that stuff, track this stuff. Nobody in their right mind starts a business and doesn't monitor how the business is doing. You guys have just a different business, right? If you own a restaurant and you order 20 steaks because you're having steak night on Friday, you bet your butt you're going to go back in that freezer and count how many steaks are left after Friday night so you know how many to order for the next Friday. Track your business. So here's the daily success system. 10 conversations a day, must be, has to have. 10 contacts added. If you're brand new and you have not added any contacts to your database, I expect 10 people to be added every single day. If you have added every single person in your phone, in your social media accounts, in your email accounts, whatever, and you have all of those people added because you're a little further along than some, then you focus on adding 10 new database members for the week, not a day. 10 handwritten notes in 1 week, 2 a day, 2 a day. Social media engagement. If you're on social media, great. If you're not, that's okay. But if you're on social media, do a 10-5-1. 10 likes, 5 comments, and 1 direct message. Change it up. I personally like 5-5-5 or 5-10-5. So 5 likes, 5 to 10 comments, and 5 direct messages. Change it up. I think that one's weak. I love how this thing says 10 conversations a day, but it lets you cop out and do 1 direct message. And no, do more touches, less likes, or do as many likes as you want. I don't care. Enrichments. Take something that we did today, you guys. Take something and implement it. 1 thing, please. This Ignite series will only help you if you are working through the week on what we talk about. The 1 enrichment that I got out of today that we absolutely need, and Melanie is begging you guys for this. An accountability partner. We can't do this alone. I wish all of you guys knew my buddy, my buddy and best friend, Carter King. I have a lot of best friends, but my buddy Carter King was my accountability partner. You know how many times a week we did scripts? 5 times a week, 20 to 30 minutes a day, every single day. And we did it in person, to the point where we both started to not want to do it. I wrote him a $1,000 check. I actually wrote it to his wife. $1,000 check. And if I missed our scripts and role play partner class for a non-emergency reason, his wife was able to cash that check and go do whatever the hell she wanted with it. Create that accountability. With my daughter, I have houses on my wall. When I sell a house, I get to cross that house off. When all of the houses are crossed off, she's going to a special place with daddy. You can use accountability at your home. You can use accountability with your friends, your family, but I encourage accountability in amongst each other, because we're all going through the same hell together. Please, that's your enrichment. That's your homework this week. Get an accountability partner. Start doing it. The only reason why accountability partners fizzle out is because one or the other isn't doing the right. It is always constantly. I didn't do my 10 today. Life got in the way. I didn't do my 10 today. Life got in the way. They're not intentional. If you find that your accountability partner is not intentional in their business, drop them like a bad habit and expect that they're going to be they're going to be the 80% that fail. Be intentional. Find the accountability partner that doesn't want to tell you why they couldn't do what they needed to for 10 minutes. Find the accountability partner that owns why they didn't do it. Hey, look, Jake, I apologize, man. I only got 7 out of 10 done. No excuses, brother. No excuses. Life got in the way. I'm doing 13 tomorrow. How many did you do, man? That's an accountability partner. Not, hey, Jake, man, I got 7 out of 10 done, man. And I just hit a wall yesterday, man. I didn't know. I should have probably grabbed some more coffee. Dogs were barking. Unicorns were running across my front lawn. Be in business. Be intentional. What was the other thing I saw? Role play. There you go. Accountability partners. Pick them. Do it for 20 minutes. Get on. If you guys can't get into person, get on Zoom. Free Zoom accounts last for 45 minutes. If you can't get on Zoom, make it a phone call. Do not have your accountability call in the car. You're not listening. You're not writing things down, and you're not tracking that other person. So Jake's my accountability partner. He's writing down 7 of 10 for Bruce on Wednesday or Tuesday. He needs 13 today. Tomorrow, Jake says, hey, you had a goal of 13 yesterday. Where'd you hit? I hit 15. Jake gives me a golf clap. That's good, but it could be better. Next. Okay. Prepare your conversation list. This is the one piece that I forgot to talk about. We talk about lead generation. We talk about the 5 things that you need to do every single day. And most likely we only have 2 of the 5 things that we can be doing. At the end of each day or at the very beginning of each day, you need to understand without a doubt who you are contacting and calling. I look at my database, go into command, look at tomorrow's tasks. If I have 6 people tomorrow and my contact goal is 10, I'm going to assume that about 50% of everybody I reach out to is not going to answer their phone. So I have 6 people I'm going to reach out to. My goal is to talk to 3 of them and leave 3 of them voicemails. Now I have 7 more contacts to make. So I'm going to cold call or I'm going to door knock for 2 hours and I'm going to get my other 7. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, I'm going to door knock. Okay. I need to prepare and get a flyer ready because I'm not going to do it tomorrow when I'm supposed to be door knocking. I'm going to do it today because it's the afternoon and I've got my lead gen done. Prepare your list, guys. Prepare for tomorrow. No restaurant owner, no manager allows that restaurant to be left filthy for the crew to come in the morning and clean up. The chairs are up top of the table. People are folding silverware. They're mopping the floor. They're vacuuming. The dishwasher's finishing the dishes. The kitchen's being wiped down. The food's put back in the fridge. Don't friggin' go through your day, have your desk a mess, and then get up the next day and be like, I'll clean it up tomorrow. You're a business owner. Act like one. Questions? Everybody's hanging their head right now because I get real nitpicky with this stuff. I have to, you guys. I only do this because I failed. I failed. All right, let's end on some ahas or success. Who's had success last week in real estate? Who's got an appointment set? Who had a massive amount of database ads? Who had any sort of win last week in real estate?
I did.
Let's see. Last week I made a video I joined my neighborhood Facebook group and starting to organize a barbecue with HOA, and they will make their decision for like the 27th of this month. So I just made a video saying basically that, and posted it, and yeah, it's gotten great feedback from the neighborhood. And then with doing my open houses every week, I've been posting on my story and stuff. And one of my buddies I went to basic with, who's stationed in Hawaii, actually messaged me and said that he's going to be getting out and looking to buy a house, and he's thinking about Colorado from looking at all my stories. So that was pretty cool.
From looking at
We'll
your
see where it
stories.
goes. Yeah.
From
I
looking
asked
at
him where
his
he wants to
stories.
go. He goes, "Oh, I've been seeing your stories, so I'm thinking Loveland." But now probably we're thinking like Colorado Springs or something like that. So either way, Colorado he's thinking. So
It doesn't
hopefully
matter
works
where
out.
it doesn't matter where he ends up. If you get to work with him, that's the ultimate. But if he looks to buy or move someplace else, you can hook them up with another agent. Make sure you stay on top of him. Make sure he doesn't start to call agents in different cities that he's thinking about. Get in front of that sucker. Awesome job, Jake. Anybody else? Candace, I think you had something.
Yeah, I actually had 2 of my former coworkers reach out to me about, one of them is looking to buy hopefully in January, and I sent her a list of lenders. And the other one, I just barely worked with her. She actually came in to replace me at the medical office that I was working out. And she reached out to me. Her and her husband are considering buying. They just had a baby. So
Nice. Heck yeah. That brings up a good point. One of our last managing brokers, he was an old principal, and he said it took about 1 year to 2 years for his teacher group to see him and his face as not a principal, but a real estate agent. You do the right things like Candace is doing, and they'll stop seeing her from her old job and now real estate. Great job, Candace. Anybody else? Amy? All right, let's get these wins up. You'll get more wins going through the greatness tracker, going through the daily success tracker, whatever that looks like. I got a win. I got a shout out to Julie Sanborn, and I don't think that these wins resonate in our bodies enough. A win is getting over yourself. And Julie Sanborn, I made her very uncomfortable yesterday at Power Hour. She even said it. But you know what I felt today when she got on Scripps was, I think, going through that trial and tribulation yesterday with me in Power Hour, she sounded pretty darn spot on today at Scripps. Had I not pushed her into her uncomfortable zone yesterday, I don't know if it would have sounded so fluid today. It might have. I'm not going to discount that. But I saw Julie get out of her comfort zone, and that is a win. This thing is too powerful. It is so darn powerful. It's in our way all the time. I trip over mine every day. Great job, Julie. All right, let's get out of here. See you guys next Wednesday, Ignite Session 3. Let's do this.
Thanks, Bruce.
bye. Thank you.
Thank you.